Meanwhile, today, 4 other states are also at the polls. And while President Biden and former President Donald Trump have both won their party's presidential nominations, today's primaries could play a really big role in the future of each of these campaigns.
Yeah, NBC's Alice Barr has the details from Washington.
As voters head to the polls in 5 primary states today, the question is not who will win the Republican and Democratic presidential contests, but rather what these voters care about.
I didn't want to vote for Trump, so I just voted against him, basically.
It's immigration right now. It's out of control.
In Ohio, a Trump-backed Senate candidate is testing the former president's ability to drive voter turnout.
It made a big impact on me, and I want to support Trump.
Mr. Trump voting today in the Florida primary. On social media, he's lashing out over the $464 million civil fraud judgment against him for his company's business practices. He's struggling to find the money and has until Monday before the New York Attorney General could move to start seizing his assets. At the same time, the former president taking heat for his latest highly controversial comments.
Any Jewish person that votes for Democrats hates their religion, they hate everything about Israel, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
As many Jewish leaders forcefully push back, the White House issuing a statement saying, quote, President Biden has put his foot down when it comes to vile and unhinged anti-Semitic rhetoric, adding there is no justification for spreading toxic, false stereotypes that threaten fellow citizens. President Biden campaigning today in Arizona, where voters are at the polls, and in Nevada, drawing a sharp contrast with former President Trump.
I never heard a president say the things that this guy has said, but the difference is he means them.
The Biden campaign announcing a new effort to engage and mobilize Latino voters, a critical voting bloc this November. And while polls show that many Americans prefer former President Trump over President Biden on immigration, Democrats in swing state Arizona are trying to reframe the issue. They're pointing to that bipartisan border bill the former president opposed and House Republicans blocked. Laura?
Alice, tell us about the new filing in former President Trump's presidential immunity case that happened today, which we've been following here at 4.
Right. So next month, the U.S. Supreme Court is going to take up oral arguments in this case. And today, we saw a filing from the Trump legal team outlining essentially what their argument is going to be. They have continued to claim the former president should have broad, sweeping presidential immunity, that he should not be able to be prosecuted for any acts that took place while he was acting as president, which is what they have claimed is the case in the case that's at issue, and this is about the former president's efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. The important thing to remember about this case the Supreme Court is going to be taking up next month is that it could really weigh in on all of the prosecutions against the former president, because if they were to find that he cannot be charged on the basis of presidential immunity, that could potentially just clear away the other cases that he's facing.
All right, Alice Barr, live for us in Washington, D.C. on a big election day. Alice, thank you. Another